So I'm starting a new series, TBT 11, Throwback Thursday 11, where, we just look at teams, not necessarily the greatest teams or the team that won the most trophies, but just some fun teams from the past, looking in depth of how they underachieved or overachieved, how they were doing today's game, and comparing them to the current day squad of said team. There's loads of teams I could have started with, so I've decided to start with the 2008-2009 Arsenal squad. If I was to give some background to Arsenal and where they were as a club at the time, 2 years prior they had just bought or just founded the Emirates Stadium, which means they were, I wouldn't say cash strapped, that was probably not the word for it, but they weren't as probably free spending as a lot of the other clubs in England were, which meant that they had to buy smart, they had to rely heavily on their youth players, and they had to rely heavily on the quote-unquote genius of the longest serving and most successful manager in Mr. Arsene Wenger. You know the deal with Wenger, he likes attacking football. Free-flowing, passing, players with technique and players who can excite the crowd. This is what we know today as the Arsenal way of playing football. And of course he had players who fit said philosophy. Before we look into the exact team and look at the players that they had, just some more background into how the team performed in that season in particular. Captained by Cesc Fabregas and vice-captained by Mr. Kolo Touré. The team finished 4th in the Premier League, scoring 68 goals, which was the 4th most in the league, and conceding 37 goals, which was the most in the top 4 that year. They were led in the goal scoring charts by Mr. Robin van Persie, a serial Premier League goal scorer, good technique, tasty little left foot. They were led in assists by their captain, Mr. Cesc Fabregas. You already know what he brings, a nice playmaker, one of the modern Premier League greats. In the Champions League, they got to the semi-final, getting knocked out by the eventual runners-up, Manchester United. It was a good game actually. Ronaldo scored a good goal when he went to the Emirates. That Man United team might have to come up in this series, but that's another story for another day, I think. In terms of notable accomplishments, the team didn't exactly win any trophies that year. They probably won a pre-season Emirates Cup. The Carabao Cup, they didn't make any noise. The FA Cup, they didn't make too much noise either. It was the throwback time in Arsenal's history where they just weren't known for competing or winning in many trophies. But like I did say, they did rely on a lot of younger players this year. And the signings they made were intended to keep Arsenal competitive in the League Number 1 and hopefully have major parts in putting in challenges towards winning a Premier League trophy. Now, obviously, it didn't happen. It still hasn't happened. They haven't won a Premier League trophy since that Invincibles trophy. However, if we do look at the squad now, we can see that perhaps if the squad did stay together for that little bit longer, I'm just saying, they may have made some noise in the Premier League. Before we look at the starting 11 or the squad depth chart, whatever you want to call it, how the series will be set up will be, if the team used a specific formation a lot in that season, then I'll most likely set them up in that way. Or if I just see some players that I do like the look of and just fit well in the team, then they'll probably get in ahead of other players. You'll see what I mean. I'll explain as we go along. Now, even though I did hype up how decent the squad did look, the goalkeeping situation was not looking pretty. Manuel Almunia, Fabianski at the time, and Victor Manoni were, to be honest, all as bad as each other. They were quite trash. But if we get the worst parts of the team out of the way, the defense doesn't look too bad, if you ask me. Gaël Clichy, Kolo Touré, William Gallas, and Bacary Sagna were actually the 4 that logged the most minutes for Arsenal at the time. And obviously, with depth, backup left back in Kieran Gibbs, De Giroud and Silvestre made up the 2 centre halves, and Emmanuel Ibure made up the backup right back spot. Not bad. Clichy and Sagna both offered something a little bit going forwards and were relatively solid defensively as well, Bacary Sagna especially. Kolo Touré and William Gallas provided a solid back line, definitely. A solid centre-back pairing. Both powerful guys, good in the air, tough tacklers. It's just really what you wanted at the time in the centre-back. The guys behind them were pretty bad, but you know, thankfully they got a lot of games out of the two centre backs and both of the wing backs, to be fair, so they did not have to rely on a lot of their backups. In the midfield, I have Andrey Arshavin, Cesc Fabregas, Alex Song, and Samir Nasri. There's a theme with a lot of these Arsenal players, but I'm not. If you spot it, then A. Well done, but let it go. It's been a while, okay? It's been over 10 years now. Andrey Arshavin came in the January transfer window for a decent penny at the time, actually. It was quite a big spend for Arsenal. In that season, he did actually play pretty good, and he showed the Premier League what he was like as a player. Nice winger, wasn't the quickest, but very intelligent, read the game very well, and had a good nose for goal. Cesc Fabregas was the captain. Of course, he was going to get in the team. He was arguably the best player on the team just because of the playmaking abilities that he brought, bringing a lot of people into the game. Cesc Fabregas could pretty much play with any of the kind of holding players that Arsenal would play next to him. So Alex Song, he got the bulk of the minutes, but he would do good because he was a nice box-to-box midfielder. Tough tackle, a good engine. A little bit erratic at times, but solid when called upon. It's good to know as well that this was a time when Arsenal were bleeding in the likes of Aaron Ramsey, Jack Wilshere, Francis Coquelin, Denilson, but Abu Diaby, he's actually a quite underrated player, to be honest. He was perpetually injured and practically lived in the hospital, but when he did play, he was actually a very powerful midfielder. Knew how to pass, knew how to tackle, knew how to get people involved, knew how to play off the ball. He was a decent little player. Again, when he wasn't hurt. Samir Nasri was occupying the right midfield spot for a lot of the season, and I mean, if we just look at him as a player, he was a nice technical dribbler. Again, not the fastest player in the world. However, he knew how to beat a man. He knew how to put balls into the box. He knew how to score when he needed to. At the time, he was one of the best young players, not even just in the Premier League, but just in the world. And the fact that Arsenal got their hands on him was quite a coup at the time. Now, he did leave to Manchester City in a manner that we won't talk about because I actually want some likes on my video. So we just not gonna go there, you know. And looking at the depth on the wing, they were bleeding in. Carlos Vela, he left pretty early, so he wasn't so much as a part of the team as maybe he should have been. He's actually banging now in the MLS. He's scoring quite a lot of goals. And Theo Walcott was the other preferred white winger when Samir Nasri was not playing. You know the deal with Walcott, extremely fast. That's pretty much it. But you know, at the time, he was held in quite high regard. He was supposed to be one of the better players in international tournaments, but obviously we know how that panned out. And of course, the two strikers, Manuel Adebayor and Robin van Persie, carried Arsenal on his back for quite a while. He was actually the second person who got the most assists in the club. Top goal scorer, second in assists. There's not much more you could want from a striker. And obviously Adebayor, his strike partner, he knew how to chip in with goals as well. More of a powerful striker, good in the air. In behind them, they had Eduardo, who he probably may have started ahead of Adebayor if he didn't get hurt in that tragic way. And also they have the Lord, Nicholas Bentner. I don't know why he didn't play over Van Persie, if I'm being 100% honest. But you know, it is what it is. He backed up both these two guys, and he was actually quite serviceable when his name was called, to be fair to him. He was quite young at the time. Wenger had a lot of faith that he could probably be one of the better players in Arsenal's future. But all in all, that's the team, really. I would say going forward is actually not bad. There's a lot of creativity. There's quite a lot of goals in this team, coming from the likes of Van Persie, Arshavin, Adebayor, Nasri. Defensively, I mean, it's not great, but like I said, this series is not about having the best of something. It's just about looking at some of the fun teams that have happened in the world of football. Now, fourth is where they finished in the Premier League in real life in that season. If you put this team, drop them into 2019, 2020, if I had to make an educated fantasy guess, they would probably finish in, I'd probably say 4th, maybe 5th. They did have a good team going forwards, and they would probably have to adjust from this 4-4-2 to probably play like a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, and they have the players to do so, definitely. I think the counter-attack against this team would be devastating. The team's not exactly the fastest, so certain players won't be able to recover in certain situations. Yeah, they might score a lot of goals, but I mean, there's two sides of the game. There's going forwards and going backwards. And if you were going to compare them to what Arsenal have today, in what my opinion is probably their best team, including the signings that they've made, Nicolas Pepe, perhaps Kian Tierney locking up the backup left back, or probably starting left back if you really wanted to. If you asked me or asked anybody in full flow, in everybody playing at their absolute best, which team would probably beat the other, I'd probably lean towards the current Arsenal squad. Mainly because their goalkeeping situation is a little bit better. Bernard Leno is a significant upgrade to Manuel Neuer. And informed Ozil is always a scary sight because he's got pace of Lacazette, Aubameyang, and now the newly acquired Nicolas Pepe, it looks like. Obviously going back, they have Torreira, they have Kolasinac, they have Socrates, so it's not obviously ideal, but it's what they have, and it's serviceable. It'd definitely be a fun match because Unai Emery's team, they know how to play some magical football at times, and you know Arsene Wenger's team, that's basically his gospel. So it'd definitely be a fun watch for sure. I'm sure it'd be a high-scoring game if they were to play. But it's nice to know that at least, not majorly, but at least in 10 years, Arsenal's squad has got a little bit better. Obviously, it's all up for interpretation, so you can let me know in the comment section down below if you think I was fair or you think I was being too harsh. Let me know how you feel about the layout of everything. Let me know how you feel about the teams I've selected. If there's obviously any teams that you would want to see a nice throwback of, you let me know in the comment section below. Next Thursday, I should have another one coming out. But we're going to leave it there for now. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, the whole shebang. Your support is greatly appreciated. This was Anderson Talks, who is now signing out.
I just like